Our guest is Jason Prescott. He's the author of a new book, Wholesale 101, Guide to Product Sourcing for Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners. And he's also the CEO of top10wholesale.com and manufacturer.com. So thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Looking forward to the interview and look forward to sharing some information here.
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to address, because a lot of people might not consider themselves in wholesaling, or that it doesn't have something to do with them. And from looking through your book, it seems like it overlaps into a lot of areas that people might not think of. So what are some of the reasons people who might not think of themselves in wholesaling might be interested?
Well, I think the first thing that we should establish is the main premises of this book is to inspire entrepreneurialism and give entrepreneurs in small business an opportunity at understanding some of the tactics that larger sourcing departments or wholesalers or importers or manufacturers use to make money. And this book is aimed at if you have an idea to make a product, if you need to find a product, or if you currently work in an organization and you need more strategy on how to source product and suppliers.
It also seems like it's it's sort of inspirational for ideas. Like even if you're in a service business, you might start thinking about bringing in some products. So it just seemed like there were so many ideas that ran through my head of things that there's opportunities that are coming up that didn't exist before.
Reese, I think you brought up a great point right there. And I can give an example. I have a friend of mine, a really good friend. His name is, we'll say Dr. Mike. And Mike's a chiropractor. As Mike's business has been growing in the San Diego area, he's been trying to ask me on some ideas to, more monetize and find some more revenue opportunity. And as we thought of a branding strategy, we wanted to come up with a line of products around his facilities, such as T-shirts or some devices that people can use, or some medical packs or some ice packs, and some other little miscellaneous things. And Mike's first thing was, well, how do I make this product, and how do I find a supplier? And then once I found a supplier and found a product, how do I distribute that product? I mean, what kind of channels do I sell these products on aside from my current chiropractic facility? So yes, Reese, you're absolutely correct to say that service providers and those in the product world equally and dually do benefit from this publication.
Yeah. Now, I know I tried. I think I told you the story. I was part of a swim club. I tried to import some swim caps back in 2002, I think. And, I ordered them from the place, and they got to the airport, and there they sat for a long time until I could figure out how I could clear customs with them and whether they were covered under some tariff. And it was all way over my head, and somebody did me a favor and sort of passed it on through. But it scared me off of ever wanting to do that again. But I think things have changed quite a bit. Or have they?
Well, that's one of the doldrums of global trade, and the reason why there's such thing as trading companies and consultants and those out there, such as specialists in shipping and warehousing and fulfillment, to help you out, is because if you decide to go the import route, there's a lot of complications you need to be wary of. I mean, is the product that you want to import, are there excessive tariffs that exist between the U.S. and this other country and product that you want to source? What is the difference between FOB and CIF? How do you know your true cost on that merchandise landed? And these are all things that go into ultimately you monetizing your idea or the product that you're trying to find. So yes, those problems absolutely do exist for newcomers, and finding a way around them or finding a way to understand them is critical to running a profitable business.
Right. So at the risk of being too basic for probably the core audience of your book, let's just, if we could take it back for some folks like myself, who are the players involved? You mentioned trading companies. And what's sort of the hierarchy of the players that are involved that people should know about, and what roles do they fulfill?
Well, I think, when you first get involved in wanting to, make a product or sell product online or eventually manufacture, import, or wholesale, you have to be cognizant of a few things. Number one is the ecosystem and how you find a supplier or a product. And that's going to start with trade shows. such as the ASD trade show, the Magic trade show, National Hardware show, the Off-Price show. It'll start with business to business online sourcing directories like top10wholesale.com and manufacturer.com. There are plenty of trade magazines out there that specialize in each industry. More so, one thing I read about in the book is kind of the changing world of product sourcing and how we find this content and how we find sources out there. And nobody should forget about LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, there are so many ways to verify the suppliers you want to work with or gather information on what you need some knowledge about, that not to take advantage of that would be really foolish.
Okay. So, but like, what does a trading company do as opposed to, I mean, when we get down to really the basics?
Yeah, I think when we start working with a trading company, this means that you're ready to be a big importer. It means that you're looking to bring some product here into the country. And when I speak about a trading company, I'll speak about an overseas trading company, such as those located in Hong Kong and China that help the importer and exporter communicate together. Now, the trading company is going to receive a commission from the factory, or take a percent of that purchase order that you've placed through that factory. And they're going to assist in all aspects of the trade. They're going to help communicate your product requirements. They're going to give you detailed quotations, and they're going to help make sure that product gets into your port of destination the right way. Now, one thing a trading company likely will not help out with is proper inspection of your goods, any certifications that you require, and quality assurance to coincide with the production cycle of these goods that you're trying to manufacture or import. So a trading company is just that. They are just connecting a buyer and seller and getting paid a commission for doing so. Nothing more, nothing less.
And so, what would be the next? What would be for a small business owner? Where would they go to start doing something like this?
Well, if you're a small business owner, there's a few things that you'd want to consider to dabble into the market. If you're just trying to monetize a website, or if you have an idea to add some product line to your website, but you don't want to take inventory, you would consider drop shipping the product. And drop shipping is when you represent on your website or in your store, in your catalog, that you have this product. You don't really own it, and all you're doing is having a relationship with a third party who does. And if they're a good drop shipper, they're going to ship that product, and whenever you get the order, they'll ship it direct to your end user or end customer with your shipping labels on them, so the integrity of your business or your relationship with your customer isn't compromised with the direct party.
So it's one step above an affiliate relationship.
Yeah, it's definitely above an affiliate relationship. Now, there are dropship programs out there that strictly, do work as an affiliate relationship, might work. But it's your choice on what kind of dropship program you want to seek. So if you have a direct relationship with the supplier, and it's kind of a unique product or something that, is not ubiquitously already out there, then it's not going to be through an affiliate program. If this is one of your, a larger supplier of, say, general merchandise, and they carry maybe 5,000 SKUs, then sure, maybe you're just going to rip off a data feed from them real quickly and place that data feed throughout your website, and it's just all going to be automated. So it really is your choice. Another key thing a small business owner is going to need to do, just to kind of conclude this point, it just would be very prudent to attend a trade show. I mean, to get into the world of B2B and trying to import or become a wholesaler or find product without attending a trade show, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot.
Really? You get the feeling that trade shows are on the way out almost with all the websites like yours. And
yeah, we would never say that. I think that trade shows are the most complimentary thing to our business, and we're a very complimentary thing to their business. I mean, it's just, no matter how advanced technology gets, when you're new into an industry, there's just nothing that could ever, replace having a relationship with somebody. Because in the world of B2B, there are so many complications and so many different things to understand in manufacturing or import or trade, that not having a good understanding of the business that you're working with, the competitors that really exist in the marketplace, and how the market works, you're just never going to really be competitive. You can't just run this kind of a business online without understanding all the offline areas that exist.
So you would go to a trade show that was appropriate to the kinds of goods that you'd be selling.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, think about it. At a trade show, you're going to network with other professionals. You're going to meet industry peers that you never would have an opportunity to meet with. And you know, there's one aspect out here that a lot of people seem to forget about. You know, when you go to my website on top10wholesale.com or Google or Yahoo, Google and Yahoo is predominantly based upon the world of search engine optimization.
Right.
So when you go to Google and you search for a supplier, say a wholesale handbags, what you're going to find is a list of companies who've done a really good job at SEO in their website. You are not necessarily going to find the best of the breed suppliers out there.
Right.
Why? Because most real suppliers out there, wholesalers, manufacturers, they're just not the savviest when it comes to their internet presence management a lot of the time.
Right, right. I know. I mean, I've oftentimes, as a person who's been into some, internet marketing or internet website creation, I've often thought, geez, I could probably work out a deal and help these folks out because their website is really, really bad, especially some of the Chinese ones. I think it's getting better with the translation, but some of the translations were so bad.
Yeah, and that's something we consult with a lot of our customers on domestically and internationally, especially in China, all throughout Asia. You'll have some of the creme de la creme suppliers out there who really are some of the top breed manufacturers or exporters of a product, but when you go to their website, you just get a really bad feeling. And it's too bad because they don't really understand. They're really good at making product, and that's about it. And when it comes to marketing or putting their presence out there and trying to show the world who they are, it's just really not their forte.
I see. Are most small businesses actually importing stuff on their own, or are they going through somebody who's already imported it then and selling it in the U.S.?
That's a good question. I think it really varies. A lot of small businesses, some already have a relationship with a supplier overseas and they're importing their product. Some are buying from a distributor here in the U.S. I mean, if you're a small business and you're just getting into this, you're better off working direct with a wholesaler in the USA a lot of the time. I mean, going overseas to source your product, that is not necessarily for everybody. That is not for the masses. By the time you add up your cost in communication, your shipping costs, and everything else that you're trying to do with this probably small first-time order, you're much better off testing the water with the direct importer in the U.S.
Yeah, our price on those swim caps, it was a really good price per unit. It was very tempting, but when you added it all up on 1,000 swim caps that I brought into the United States, I wound up paying well more than I would have if I just bought them locally.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. Like, I was at a trade show a couple of weeks ago, the Licensing Expo in Las Vegas, and just speaking to a new customer of ours, and they manufacture T-shirts over in the Dominican Republic. And a lot of us regular people, we might think that, hey, we're special, we're somebody, we're placing a big order for 2 or 5 or 10,000 pieces. That is nothing in trade. I mean, you have factories out there like just this one factory, and this is one of a million, who is making 800,000 units a week for 2 significant customers. I mean, that's 800,000 T-shirts per week. That's huge. And for him to stop and consider your little 5,000 piece order, you're not going to get the kind of TLC that you probably need and want, and you will get that out of a supplier in the U.S.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. When you're thinking about bringing in or adding a product or deciding to get a product wholesale, what are some of the main things people should consider in terms of when they find somebody to source that from?
Well, I think first of all, when you're looking for a product out there, there's a few types of entrepreneurs and small businesses that are trying to find a product for a reason. Is this a product that you've had an idea for that you see as a big product in the market, and eventually you want to sell some of the big retailers such as Walmart or Sam's Club or Kohl's or Sears or whatever? And if that's the case, there's a whole different line of contingencies and things to watch for. Which would be much different for the small business who has a steady base of customers, or they're looking to enter into the market and they found a good product and they just want to add it to their product mix. So At the end of the day, if we were to summarize this in some simple things that we all want to look out for, no matter which situation is your situation, is price. Price is very important. Before I get to price, we'll speak about the quality of the supplier that you're working with. Pricing is, of course, a very important consideration, but sometimes it's better off to pay 10 or 15% more, knowing that you're going to work with a supplier who's going to ship on time, who you can communicate with, who's going to give you consistent quality on what you're ordering, who's got a great reputation in the marketplace, and who you know is going to become your partner. When you just buy price, sometimes you get what you pay for, if you know what I mean. Some other things that you want to look for is what is the competition in the marketplace. When you look online for this product and you do a search for, say, digital tape recorders, how many different e-commerce stores and how many different retailers or brands do you see with this same exact product that you want to bring in? What is their pricing? How many different areas are they distributing this product on? What are their e-commerce channels? Are they using data feeds to feed into Google and Amazon and other marketplaces? If you were to speak about the main considerations that one should look for when deciding to work with a new product, it's going to be the quality of the supplier, it's going to be the competition in the marketplace, and it's going to be the pricing that you're receiving.
Any red flags to look for?
Red flags would be that the first quote you receive is either significantly higher or significantly lower than maybe the median average of what you received. Okay, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. And if somebody quotes you out of the marketplace, they're not worth working with anymore, because you're dealing with a dishonest person. Credibility is everything in global trade. Some other things to look out for with the supplier. If you see a lot of complaints in the Better Business Bureau, if you go to ripoffreport.com and you see complaints about the supplier, if you can't verify the business with the state that they're registered in, it's always, whether you're working overseas and you're placing a large order with an exporter, or you're working domestically, it's always best to do your due diligence on the business before getting excited. Excitement sometimes is it's a good thing, but it can be a really bad thing when you react too quick to what you see.
There's some things when I was reading through your book, there's some big changes coming that I think a lot of people are unaware of, and with the ports and stuff, and what are some of the, how's that going to change the landscape? What are some opportunities?
Geez, to answer this question, I think we first have to look at the perspective is how does it change trade for the big players first, which is going to be the most significant part of it. And for us smaller guys out there, it's not going to have that significant of an impact. Now you have two things that are happening right now. You have the expansion of the Panama Canal, which really is a kind of a quote unquote trade shifter in the way that goods reach the U.S. It's going to significantly cut down delay time and allow for much bigger ships to cross that canal and get into the East Coast ports much quicker than the LA ports, which is traditionally how trade has always been done. You also have a new shifter that's just been inked that's happening right now between a prominent Chinese businessman and the country of Nicaragua. Now, when you have these trade shifters that occur, it just means that, hey, if I'm going to open an import office, or I'm going to be a wholesaler, where is the best opportunity for me to open my office? Do I need a warehouse in LA, or does it have to be in New Jersey or Miami or Texas? Because location is key consideration to doing anything, whether you're buying a home or whether you're opening a business. I'd rather have a McDonald's in a mall than a McDonald's in a back alley, if that makes sense.
Well, when that canal opens, do you see there's going to be a huge shift from LA to other places?
A lot of people are saying there won't be. I'm going to be on the kind of opposite side of that and say that our federal government wouldn't be putting billions of dollars into projects in the New York and New Jersey and Carolina harbors and Louisiana and Texas, and we wouldn't be anticipating such a new boom in some exports into Asian countries for coal and natural resources. So Yes, I think there's going to be a significant change. Living in Los Angeles, you're not seeing a lot of investment right now in some of the ports. You're not seeing a lot of hiring. You're seeing a lot of these businesses and service providers and shipping companies who traditionally have their main headquarters out here. A lot of them are now, opening new facilities in places in the East Coast. So just looking at the data alone, one can't help but to draw the conclusion that yes, there's going to be a significant change in something. What that is, I think we'll all have to wait and see in another 2 to 3 years.
Right, but something for people to be on the lookout for opportunities.
Yeah, there's going to be, Reese, you had a good point. I mean, that's exactly what it is. There's opportunity. And anytime you have a trade shifter like this, the opportunity isn't just in merchandise, it's in providing services, it's in infrastructure, it's in so many different industries that are required to support trade that if you're a small business and you have an entrepreneurial mind, there are some phenomenal opportunities in these places right now that are receiving a lot of investment in preparation for these canal expansions.
Very interesting and stuff. I think I don't think most people are even really aware. I mean, I think a lot of people are aware the expansion is going on, but I haven't really thought much about what that means.
Yeah, I think if anybody's interested in finding out more information, I use an app called Zeit on my iPad and on my iPhone. And if you're familiar with Zeit, it's a personalized news channel, and you can just create a category for Panama Canal, and you can follow a lot of the news that's pretty much happening daily right now.
Well, that's good to know. And then, so let's get into the sort of the meat of a lot of stuff is like finding sources. So you've decided you've thought of an idea and you're going out there and you're saying, okay, where can I get this as inexpensively as possible with as good quality as possible? That balance. Where does one look?
Well, I mean, that brings up to, getting to the nitty gritty of how do I source product and find suppliers, right?
This could be an opportunity for a plug, by the way.
Yeah, so if I want to find this mouse right here, the first thing that I might do is I might take a picture of this mouse, and I might then go to, say, top10wholesale.com or manufacturer.com and fill out a product request form that gets submitted to literally, probably hundreds of suppliers in the U.S. For just this one product here, and see how they quote it back. More so, I would take it on to, if you're looking to import, I would do the same thing on manufacturer.com. And while you're doing that, just remember sometimes that a lot of these suppliers who might set up an account with me or any trade site, they may have not done a great job. So it would behoove you not to start sourcing this product yourself online. I would go right to the electronics categories on manufacturer.com or top10wholesale.com, and I would find a group of suppliers who you think might have that product and then start calling them and emailing them and asking them questions. At the same token, I would prepare to attend a trade show. So if I was looking for, again, this mouse, I would think about going to the Consumer Electronic Trade Show in Las Vegas, or I would go to the ASD Trade Show in Las Vegas, which is a very large general merchandise trade show where you'll find a lot of private label type items. And after you've gone to a trade show and looked online and done some research, you're going to have a pretty good idea on what the specifications are and what the pricing is on that product you're looking to source. And once you figure that out, it's now going to be up to you to choose a supplier to work with. And once you've chosen a supplier, I always advise having at least 2 backup suppliers who can immediately hop in and help you out if you ever have a problem.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, and I imagine most products are available from more than one place.
Yeah, and it's always good. I mean, I always have, it's always good to keep a supplier assessment sheet. When you assess suppliers, I mean, there's a chapter in the book here where we talk about certain things to look for, and we've already gone over some of them. But it's good for you to keep an Excel sheet or some area where you have your own. You're going to develop your own way of kind of instinctively weeding people out of who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. And it's good to keep a database of that. It's good to keep a manila folder still right in front of you in a drawer in a cabinet where you have a group of your suppliers and it's categorized by certain industries or types, and you can pull it out right in front of you and put it on your desk and view it and scribble on it and make notes. I mean, I know the internet and and all these wonderful SaaS-based technologies are great for collaborating in and making all these notes, but sometimes just having that information right in front of your face the old traditional way is something that really sparks your memory and gets you to be a little bit more creative and just entices you to do something that you may not do.
What are some other things that I haven't asked things that you think that small businesses should know about, that are in your book, or that, just about wholesaling in general?
I think that, I mean, look, I think the number one thing people need to be wary of is that, when you're stepping into the import-export game, or you want to get into the product world, you're stepping into an ultra-competitive environment. And it's extremely cutthroat. Global trade, you learn, just when you think you've seen it all, you see something brand new all the time. And, if there's one thing that I can advocate that's more important than anything out there, it's running a hip business. And when I say hip, I'm talking about honesty, integrity, and professionalism. And when you look for people who offer that and you give that at the same time, you're going to have a much higher likelihood at forming solid relationships. This industry is full of tribal knowledge. The information that you truly need to be successful, for finding big buyers that work in large retailers, for finding certain inside secrets about a trade show, or finding out how to utilize, best of pricing strategy, or maybe 10 million other things, is not going to be found on the web. It's going to be found through a relationship that you've developed with somebody. So this business really, it's not for the introverted type personality a lot of the time. And if that is your personality, I advise, having a good business partner who's got that outgoing type personality and doesn't mind hammering away on the phone, doing a lot of social media, engaging in trade shows, and work on forming relationships, because they are key.
Well, that's great. And your book is coming out very soon.
July 16th. And, just to retouch on that point, Reese, I don't want to underemphasize how critically important it is to understand that the information that you need to succeed in the B2B game, all of it will never be online. And when you go through the chapters that we put in our book, Wholesale 101, that comes out on July 16th, a shameless promotion, everybody. Please be aware of the fact that the information that's in there, you're just never going to find it on a website anywhere, such as how to spot organizers at a trade show, and key information about how to find somebody that can assist you at a trade show like Magic or ASD or the National Hardware Show. It just doesn't exist. And I do hope that you benefit from the publication of anything.
Yeah, well, it gives people somewhere to start. I think it's a good introduction.
Yeah, I do too.
So I really want to thank you for being on the show and telling us about your new book and helping us understand a little bit more about wholesaling.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and best of luck to you, Reese, and best of luck to all of you new importers, exporters, and entrepreneurs out there who have dreams of having the next big product, or want to look for a new opportunity to earn some income on the side. Happy wholesaling.